welcome back to Dream Girl. If you're new here, my name is Sheen. I'm your host, and today we're joined by a very interesting internet personality, which I'm sure she's gonna hate me introducing her like this. But welcome, Twinkle Stanley.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sheen, for having me. I'm very excited. This is my first podcast, so.
Oh wow, it is.
It is.
Oh, I'm super humbled that you chose us for your first time.
No, of course. Thank you for having me again.
Great. How's your day going?
Pretty good. I'm getting nervous the more we speak because I'm like, shit, I have to say something really smart.
Listen, no one is expecting you to be smart.
Oh my god. Well, that was a pretty harsh.
Was that a burden off your shoulder?
Yeah, that's fine now.
There you go.
Because I'm just here for the fun.
You're here for the entertainment.
Okay, great.
Right.
That makes me feel good.
Perfect. I'm going to ask you a very difficult question to start with.
Okay.
What's your happiness level today, 0 to 10?
I think an 8.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's an 8 today?
I'm pretty neutral it's an 8 every day for me. For the past year, it's every single day has been an 8.
Why does it not go up?
I mean, it does go up once in a while when I get a really good opportunity or something great happens, but I always operate at an 8.
So nothing brings you down?
For the past 1.5 years, nothing has brought me down.
Ooh, let's talk about that. How does that happen? How do you make yourself so kind of like strong to whatever external factors is happening?
Okay, this might not be the answer that you want to hear, but I generally don't have any problems in my life. Like for me to get upset.
Okay.
And yeah, I've been very privileged, especially the past, I would say, a year and a half has been great for me.
Okay.
So there's nothing for me to complain about. If something happens at work, that's a very short-term stress that I go through. But my family's healthy. I'm doing really well. I have a great home. I have amazing friends. I have an amazing job. I'm very privileged. I don't have any problems at the moment. So I'm just always at an 8.
Well, that's good. That just means that you are very aware and grateful for what you have.
Of course. I'm super grateful for my life.
Yeah. So I think gratitude is a very big thing when it comes to being happy. Right? Okay. So let's address the elephant in the room. Obviously, you're an internet personality now.
I never know what to say when someone refers to me as an internet personality or an influencer.
Yeah, okay, let's talk about that because I know a lot of people have issues with the word influencer for themselves. Okay. And I thought that I didn't. I thought I was above it. But recently, someone told me, I thought you were just an influencer, and I got so triggered, so triggered. Why do you think that is? Like, how do you feel about the word influencer?
So for me personally, I'm not, I wouldn't want to be put in a box as just an influencer. And that's because of the fact that I also work on other things.
Yes.
I also do have a job, which I'm very passionate about, which is why I prefer not to be called just an influencer. But if that was my full-time job, I would definitely have no problem being called an influencer. And I think people have a hard time accepting that as a real job because I feel like we're raised with the idea that money has to be difficult and a job means you have to be hustling and crying and you have to start from scratch and you have to be killing yourself over it. And when influencers or when a person blows up, they suddenly have all of this money and these opportunities, and normal people find it hard to accept that and accept that it's a job because you don't want some people to have it easier than the rest. So I think that's why people like to dismiss the influencer industry. They think they're not doing anything, but influencers are the ones who set trends. They change people's shopping habits. They change the way people feel about themselves. And again, this is not me glorifying the influencer industry, but that is just the plain truth. Influencers have a lot of power in marketing and business and fashion in whatever niche that they're working in. So I don't think it's right to downplay their achievements at all.
Yeah, and don't you feel like there is actually a decent amount of work that goes behind creating content as well? Oh, this is where we're going to disagree. Okay.
No, of course not. I think it really depends upon the kind of content that you're creating.
Yeah.
My kind of content where I just sit on my couch and talk about a heartbreak for the 100th time, it's not work. So I personally will not, come on here and say, I work so hard on my Instagram. I don't work hard on my Instagram. It happened by luck, and I'm completely open to admitting that I got very lucky with it. Yeah. But there are definitely other influencers who spend so long in perfecting the art and craft of their work. especially YouTubers. I think YouTubers they work really hard. So those kind of content, that definitely takes a lot of time. But it's fine to admit that some influencers don't hustle or don't work that hard. But of course, their success is still very much deserving.
Yes.
At the end of the day, they still put themselves out there, and it is deserving success. But it's also okay to say that's not hard work. It's fine.
Okay, so you mentioned the whole process of like blowing up and how then things might get easy. Talk to me about the day when it actually happened for you.
So I've always been someone that's very open on Instagram. Ever since I've had my social platform, I've always shared about my exes and my boyfriends, and I've been very open about it. I don't know why. I'm just very comfortable with it. I think it probably has to do with the fact that I had very strict parents growing up. Like, my mom was extremely strict. I was grounded for years in my high school and in my university. So I got my first phone when I was 18 years old. I was not allowed to access internet or do these things. They were very strict about it. So when I finally got Instagram, I think it kind of became my way of sharing my life and talking to people. So I've been sharing my personal life for as long as I can remember. And I would do it in my stories because I thought, okay, no one would want to see it on like their feed. So why would I share about my experience? I'll just post on my stories. And it got a bit too annoying because people would have to keep tapping through. So I'd have a lot of people like come and tell me face to face, like, oh, I was talking to this one guy who knows you and he got so annoyed by your story, so he unfollowed you. So people would tell that to me on my face. And sometimes it would come from my own friends. And then one day I decided, okay, I'm just going to post a reel. Like, I'll just do reels so that people can scroll through and then I'm out of their feed. You know, they don't have to keep tapping through. So I'll just post it on my feed. And that's how I posted my first video where I was talking. And I shared the story time of my mom. It was like a brown girl story time of my mom grounding me. And the next thing I know, I'm at work. I think 2 days later, I was on a shoot. And I'm just, like, I'm refreshing the video. And I used to get like 3,000 or 4,000 views per video on a good day. And then that video was going up to 40,000 views, 80,000 views, 100,000. And I thought, oh, that's so cool. Like, I didn't really think much of it. I didn't expect it to go anywhere. But it started picking up a lot. And my followers started going up. So I was at 6,500 then. And I think within 3 days, I hit 10,000 followers. And from there, it just kept going up. So when a video goes viral, the rest of your videos also pick up views because people come to your profile. And for me, I thought, okay, this is my one golden chance to get all my other numbers up. So I need to keep posting. So while people care about this one video, let me talk more. But surprisingly, every other video would go viral. Like, it would get 500,000 views or it would get 2 million views. And that's how I started posting more regularly. And even when I hit 10,000 followers once, my family had, brought a cake because they wanted to celebrate the K in my follower count. And I told them, listen, let me hit 13K. And then that's a safe time
it's far enough above 10.
Exactly. So if I get unfollows, it's not gonna be embarrassing. But then once I hit 10, then I hit 20 in like 3 days, and I hit 30 in another month. So my growth was pretty quick, but the backstory of it was literally just the fact that I didn't want to annoy people by showing up on stories. So I started posting reels.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then how did it feel when you realize that now this is a thing and it's growing and you have so many more eyes on your page?
Honestly speaking, I don't think I care about it. Like, I don't...
It didn't feel good?
It's fun. Like, I look at it as, oh, it's a fun thing, because now I get brand deals and now I get to make money and now I get to live my life in a better way. But I don't try to attach myself to the numbers of, oh, I'm popular. Like, I don't try to think that way. So even when I go for events or I go for anything where I get to socialize with people, I do have people who come to me and say, oh, I love your videos. And I don't know how to react to it. And I'm fine with that. Like, I don't want to walk into a room and assume everyone just knows me.
Yes.
I just don't want to lose touch of reality. So I like my life right now, but I also don't want to... I don't want that to be a big part of my life. So I don't stress on it too much. I don't care about it too much.
Okay.
Yeah.
But is that easier said than done, though? Because I feel like the more you grow, the more you're going to get recognized, the more people will come up to you, the more likely people know of you wherever you go to places. And it does do something to you, right? Because even me, for example, I'm still super awkward when people come up to me. And I always think, oh, no, they're going to think I'm a weirdo.
Yeah.
Because you stress when they come. But how do you do it?
I think the fact that I have to go to office every single day, I know this sounds, I speak about this quite a lot, but it's a big part of my personality. It's a big part of my life. And one of the main reasons I also go to my job every single day is to still, talk about things apart from just social media and to still learn from people. Because when you become an influencer and you're constantly surrounding yourself with influencer friends, everything becomes content.
Yes.
You go for dinner and, okay, let's all take a picture. Let's all do a trend, which is fine. Of course, that's your job. Do it. It's just not what I want to do.
Yeah.
Or, if you have an event coming up, you're for the next 3 days or for 3 days leading up to the event, you're wondering what to wear. And it's okay. Like, I'm not shitting on them at all. It's just not for me. So I don't want to get attached to it. So I go to my work. I'm totally normal there. Nobody cares about my social media.
Oh, really? But they must all know, right?
Yeah, of course they know. They talk about it. But if I mess up at work, I'm still just a horrible employee. Like, nobody cares. So I like that. And I want it to be that way.
Okay.
So I think my job is a big part of me being able to separate my life from social media.
Okay, and one thing we've discussed in the past as well is once you blow up and then the brand deals come in and then suddenly the amount of money you used to earn kind of like doubles and triples sometimes. Yes. What has been your experience of this? How do you deal with this change of financial status?
So for me, I blew up in July, but I started monetizing my content in September. And I got a good amount of brand deals from September to November, and I started getting paid for it between November to Jan because companies have like a 60-day or 90-day policy. I know. And what happened is, so when I entered Jan this year, I was getting paid big numbers like every 3 to 4 days. So every 3 to 4 days, I would get this massive amount credited to my account. And this is stuff that I had to work for an entire month, like kill myself over it. Sometimes work on weekends, stress so much. And I was suddenly making this money easily just by posting a video of, oh, this is my straight hair using this tool. And I was making that money. So for me personally, I think when that money started getting credited to my account, I think I felt a bit lost because for the first time, I didn't have to struggle to make that money. So I almost felt undeserving of that money. I felt like something is off, like it shouldn't be this easy. That was my attitude towards it. And because of that, I couldn't also enjoy the perks of it because you want to feel like you worked hard and you want that struggle and reward to go hand in hand. But when you're not struggling and you just get the reward, you feel like you don't deserve it. So I did have that in Jan and Feb of this year, just last month. I was kind of struggling with it. But I also understand that we are raised to believe that money is limited and we have to suffer. And it's our duty, especially as someone that I've worked hard in other aspects of my life and which has led to this. So I try to remind myself that I've worked hard when I've had to. I've put in a lot of extra hours. I've not taken weekends off. In stretch for months, I've done that. So I can enjoy this without having to feel like I have to kill myself. So it's fine. So it's just been a bit confusing for me because I think you expect money to fix all your problems, money to make you so much happier. And when you're getting that money and it doesn't change anything in you, you begin to question who you are and what's your purpose and different things. I just feel like such a spoiled brat right now because there are so many things going on in this world. And I'm like, I made money and I feel so shit. That's not what I mean.
The extra money is not making me happy. Yeah.
That's not what I mean at all. It's just an experience that caught me off guard. I didn't expect to be that person because I'm always very grateful for everything. So I kept wondering, why am I not feeling grateful for this? I am now, though. I've done my prompts, I've done my journaling, so now I feel good. But I did have that confusing phase.
Yeah, and I think you touched on a very good point, right? We are taught that money needs to be earned.
Yes.
And that the word itself is earned and it's not just, given to you.
Yes.
And I think that's where the struggle comes from. Even we are putting a judgment on our own work and our own deservingness of this money. And I think that's where it gets interesting. And you touched on the whole fixed mindset and how we do tend to think that, well, this is ridiculous to be paid this much money to do this.
Exactly.
When with my skills and my years of experience, I was only getting this money for working a whole month.
Yeah.
And it is so important to change that mindset, right? And I'm glad that you did some journaling and you fixed it.
Yeah, it sounds so dumb when I say it.
No, it's not though. It's not. It's not. At least you went in to fix it.
Yeah, I did. And especially I would say in the field of work that I am in, it's a lot of extra hours. It's a lot of weekends that you have to work. And because I work in the media industry, you don't really get to switch off. So our group chats are going off even at 10 in the night.
Yeah.
So that happens. So even if it's not like another job where you check out at 6 and you can just enjoy the rest of you can just enjoy the rest of your day. It doesn't really work like that. You're still online, you're still doing stuff. So I've had to do that for, I would say, 3 years and earn a certain amount every month. And suddenly now a brand comes to me and they're paying me the same amount that I'm getting at work. And if it doesn't match what's on my media kit, somehow I'm confident enough to say no.
Yeah.
Like, it's so confusing to me because when I convert it, I'm like, oh, that's literally my salary. Like, why am I not taking it up? But I treat my influencer stuff as different. So for my job, I will work hard. I will still beg for that pay rise if I need to. But when it comes to my influencer stuff, like if it's not worth it, it's fine. I can miss out on it.
Okay.
So,
okay, let's talk about that. I want to talk to you personally about this because I think one thing that I keep hearing from other influencers as well is there is so much kind of like unsaid things when it comes to getting paid as an influencer. First of all, as you said, you might have done the work 3 months ago, but you get paid after 3 months, right? Yeah. And I don't know why every time this happens to me, when someone will be like, they're not following up on the invoice, and then finally someone else will come in being like, this person is no longer with us, so I will be handling your invoice now. So I think they also churn very quickly on the marketing teams. That's a lot of issues. But there are different things that we struggle with. The first one is knowing how to value yourself as an influencer.
Yes.
You're not sure how to value yourself because no one talks openly about this. There isn't some place you can go to do market research and see what is my worth based on what I'm offering, which industry I'm in, etc. Secondly, sometimes you face brands who are very easy to work with. Sometimes you have brands who will try to really downplay your value. And then it sometimes, for me, oh my God, one time I had a brand that literally laughed at me when I said my rates. And they were like, for you, we would have paid at least 50% less than that. And it's just the fact that that was their reaction. And then you start to question because this is a huge brand that is working with a lot of people. And you're like, maybe they know better than I do about my rate. So then how do you ground yourself in this world of how do I price myself and how do I say no to things that is beneath my value?
So first of all, I think one of the main reasons why there is no market rate is because of course, engagement rate. So there are influencers who have my same following and who don't have the same reach as I do.
Yes.
But there are also influencers who have half my followers and have a much bigger reach than I do.
100%.
So you cannot really expect, I mean, it's not you, I'm not directing this towards you, but it's hard to put a price to something that depends on not one metric, but multiple metrics. You have, of course, you have your follower count, you have your engagement rate, and you have your demographics. And most importantly, and this is something that isn't tangible, is the brand identity that you have. So there are influencers, again, like I said, who have lesser followers than me, who might have a bigger reach than me, but who don't have the same brand positioning that I do.
Right.
Which gives me more leverage on how I can price. Same thing applies to me where there are influencers with lesser followers than me who have a much bigger, stronger brand positioning than I do. So I'll have to charge lesser than them.
100%.
So for me, I don't look at numbers necessarily. I don't really look at a market rate or anything of that sort. I genuinely think of what is the amount of money that's going to make me happy for doing this work. That's the rule that I follow, and it's always helped me immensely. Okay. So if I work with a brand, for example, and it's a really good brand, and usually very good brands tend to pay you less because they know
you need them.
You need them on your portfolio. So some of my best brands have actually paid me the least.
Right.
And for me at that point, because I also, again, this is where a full-time job comes into place, because I have a full-time job, I don't need that money. Yeah. So I can think just of, okay, what can this brand get for me on my portfolio?
Right.
So I'm okay with reducing the number there. But if you're going to do a brand deal that by the end of it, you think, okay, this money was not even worth it, then don't take it up.
Right.
Try not to take it up because over time, you're going to be questioning your own worth. So nowadays, I've had so many brands who almost reach my brand, almost reach my rate.
Yes.
But they're probably short by $500. And I look at what can their brand do for me on my portfolio. And if it's not much, I will still say no to it.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, it's a fun industry. I know there's a lot of money, but it also means that you don't have to take up something that doesn't align with you. It's fine to say no because money is an energy.
Yeah.
It will come back to you. We don't have to attach ourselves so much to it. But that being said, I do want to share a short, small story time. So recently, there was this influencer. This is a story that I heard from somewhere else. It is true though. And it was this macro influencer. She's huge. And I found out how much she was getting paid. And it blew my mind because it was so much lesser than what I would have charged even at 50,000 followers. I'm telling you, she had millions. And she was literally charging the brand the same amount that I was charging at 50,000. And that's what happens when you don't understand even your value as an influencer. So for her, I'm pretty sure the brand must have said the budget is so immensely tight. I'm sure that's what they've said, which isn't true.
No, it's never true. Yeah.
Yes. At that point, you have to say no to it because that's the only way that you'll also get comfortable, pricing it higher. Mm-hmm. So I would say 3 to 6 months, I've barely been in this industry for a year, but every 3 to 6 months, I try to increase my rate just a little bit. And then I test the waters with it. Mm-hmm. I ask brands, okay, if they give me a package, I write down the cost of each deliverable. And then I mention a price and I test the waters with them. Some of them say, okay, cool, let's go ahead and do it. Yeah. Some of them say, no way.
Mm-hmm. Some of them ghost as well.
Some of them ghost. It's just the way it is. So that's why you can't really get a market rate. It just depends on you and what you think you're worth.
Yeah. But that's the thing, right? I mean, what you say is just not even shocking to me. I'm not surprised that this is happening because there are so many big creators who might not have, a lot of years of experience in the market. Yes. So they don't really know how it works. And then if someone is telling them this is my budget and they think, well, they know how big I am. So they probably think this is the money that I deserve and they will go with it. And I think that is the danger of it. And also what I've started to do, 2 things. The first thing is ask them for their budget first.
Yeah.
Right? Because then you might be really underballing yourself. So I ask for budget first. And secondly, is if they try to reduce my price, I'm like, okay, but I will change my deliverables.
Yes, you can do that.
Yeah. And I think that's one way of telling them that I'm not agreeing with you that my value is this, but if this is how much you can afford, I can change what I'm offering you. Yeah. And I think that's one way of working around them trying to lowball you on what you think you deserve.
Yes.
So.
And for me, I'm pretty open about, I can't really mention, okay, this is the
brand. Yeah.
I can't mention that. But I've got paid literally over the past, I would say, month. For the same deliverables, one brand has paid me $3,000 and one brand has paid me $9,000. For the same deliverables.
For the same thing.
For the same thing. And I've agreed to both because this gives me the money and this gives me the brand
exposure.
Position.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Them in my portfolio, which is why I do it. So you just have to think of multiple factors.
Yes.
But yes, there are many, many macro influencers who still don't know how to charge, which is so surprising to me. Yeah. There was also another brand manager that I met at an event, and we were briefly talking about influencer rates. She was asking me my rates. I was sharing everything, and she herself said, "Oh, there was this one influencer. She's got 500,000 followers on TikTok, and we paid her $1,000 for 4 videos." And I thought,
excuse me?
I asked her, I literally told her, that's less, right? She's like, yeah, but it's our business. We always try to lowball. And the thing is, these influencers don't know their rates.
And if they say yes, they say yes.
They say yes.
Oh, God.
And I was like, I myself, with a fifth of her following, would not accept that.
Yeah, I would not have taken that.
Exactly.
I would not have taken that.
And it's also, I'm pretty sure there are many brands that even I've worked with who have gotten the better deal.
Oh, 100%.
For sure. And that's where I think of, okay, this money is still a good money for me. Yeah. So I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
So I think you just have to find that.
The middle
that value
ground
within yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I remember as well starting off, I gave someone a whole reel on a whole episode of the podcast for an amount of money that it was just looking back at it, I was like, you got it for free. Like you literally got it for free at this point. But you learn. And I don't mind in the early stages, whatever mistakes I made, as long as now I'm a bit more kind of like intentional with the choices that I make. And same as you, I feel like last quarter, a lot of money needed to be spent.
Yes.
So I made so much from different brand deals. And then starting January on that, because the money's still coming in, and now you're like, wait, where's the money? You're like, where are they?
I know.
But the first quarter is always the toughest one to crack. So that's one thing with the influencer economy, right? It's not like having a normal job. It's not every month you can't expect a paycheck that comes in. it goes up and down.
Yeah.
And that's all about money management. But yeah, thanks for sharing that.
Thank you.
And now let's talk a little bit about you and your content. You know which video I saw of yours first? I don't think you'll know. I don't think I told you.
No, I don't think you have.
It was the one about your celebrity crush.
Michael Jordan?
Yes.
Michael B. Okay.
And I remember when your friend did he follow you or something?
Listen, this is so embarrassing. He did not do anything except comment on one video, and it was one emoji.
But that's a lot. He saw one of your videos and he commented.
I'm sure it was his personal assistant who's trying to do this community management stuff.
Community management, please.
But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, he commented on my video.
So that was the first video I saw, and I remember thinking, oh my God. And then I watched a lot of your videos.
Okay.
And I remember a lot of people at the time were telling me, because we blew up at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Yes, but then because we have mutual friends from before as well, right? And they were telling me, yeah, Twinkle, you need to look at Twinkle's content as well. And I remember I binge watched you one night, and I was like, this girl is so brave, because you're talking about very things that are very personal to you, but you are very openly sharing it. And I was like, I wish I could be doing that. I wish I could be doing that. But so I know my favorite thing about you now is how you name and shame. Especially with the photos, it kills me. But I used to do that. So I used to take a little screenshot of the comment and just post it on my story. Okay. Especially when it's like extremely ridiculous. And I'm the opposite of you. I get aunties that come at me.
Oh, okay.
Okay, like auntie with her full name, family name and everything, with her picture of her and her kids, and just saying really mean things to me. For example, one of them was saying that what was it? She said, I've spent a lot of time looking for your jawline and I couldn't find it. And I was like, this is so me. That's one. God. The second one, the same person. Then she went on a different video and she was like, imagine going on someone's podcast and just talking about yourself the whole time. I was like, first of all, it's my own podcast.
What the hell?
Right. So how do you deal with it? And you get a lot of men who come at you.
Yeah, I get a lot of men comment on my videos. I've honestly forgotten the hate comments that I've gotten just because I get a lot. But sometimes I open my Instagram and I get a DM from someone saying, hi, black cow. I don't really know what to say.
I should think of a response. What do I say?
What do I actually say?
Move.
I don't know what to reply. Or I have people who, I think recently someone had messaged me saying, oh, you've got a burnt face or stuff like that. So it's a lot about...
Why do they come at your skin like this?
I don't know. They're obsessed with my skin color.
Really?
I think
we're gonna
a
talk
lot of
about
them.
That.
We have to talk about that. And I think it's because when a woman is talking about her expectations from a relationship, especially an Indian woman, and she says it so openly that I need a guy to treat me like this.
Yeah.
Then they look at, oh, but are you fair?
What do you deserve? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Are you light-skinned? And if you're not, oh, no,
Shut
you're...
up.
Yeah, exactly. Those are the kind of comments that I get. I've also got comments, oh my God, this is the funniest one. There was this one guy who commented on my video saying, oh, she's dark-skinned, she's black, so she's one of the leftovers. So I have no idea how she has the balls to talk about her experience. They literally called me a leftover. And I was so shocked by it, but it's just a part of social media, right? Hey, what can you do?
Please, I don't get the colorism thing because I also got it. Like, for me, I got it from someone who sent me a DM being like, you should use this, this, and this because I feel like you are probably fair, but you don't know how to take care of your skin. And I was like, it's not even a hate comment. It's like she's trying to help.
I know. That's even worse when they're just trying to help you.
It's worse.
Yeah.
But this is horrible. And it's all internalized colonialism at the end of the day, right? That's what us brown people do. We chase the white skin.
Yeah, exactly.
And that is annoying that they say this to you. Does it get to you, the whole color thing?
No.
Even growing up, it never bothered you?
No, growing up, it did. I think in school and university, it's not necessarily, it was never extreme where I thought to myself, oh, I just hate my skin. It was never that. But it's in the subtle embarrassment of your skin color where if you take a group picture and the lighting is different for you. And I'm like, guys, I need extra light. So I think in those instances, I used to feel a little bit embarrassed. And for me personally, a huge part of that embarrassment came from, I think, my first relationship. So it was in high school. It was a young, dumb relationship, but a lot of his friends used to make fun of him because he was with me. And I used to hear about it constantly in very subtle ways. I used to hear about it. So that's even worse when someone is embarrassed. I don't think he was embarrassed, but of course, when people are making fun of you at some point, it probably gets to you.
Yeah.
So I used to come across those comments every once in a while. I knew it was a topic of discussion. And what actually really helped me get out of that mindset or get out of that embarrassment was when I did my internship at a fashion magazine. It was a fashion and beauty magazine. And on my first week of the internship, we had received this PR package of lipsticks. And there was a black girl there who told me, okay, let's do an unboxing and we can show lipsticks in different skin tones.
Oh, amazing.
And I thought, at first, it caught me off guard because up until then, no one had referred to my skin color as just
a different skin tone, yeah.
Yeah, because even in university or even in school, because I went to an Indian school and an Indian university, it's an unsaid thing that dark
no one
skin
addresses it.
Yeah, no one really addresses it. Or even if they address it, it's me making fun of myself. So it was the first time where in a professional space, someone acknowledged my skin color and they did it from a neutral standpoint. It wasn't even from a positive standpoint where they said, oh, you're so beautiful. It wasn't that. It was just, oh, yeah, you have dark skin. Let's do an unboxing. And I feel like at that time, that's all I wanted it to be. And from then, I've just really embraced my skin. I actually really love my skin color now. I personally think it's such a rich skin color.
As you should.
Some colors look great on me, some don't. And that's fine. It's normal. There are colors that don't suit a white person.
Yeah.
And that's okay. So,
hey, at least you can wear yellow.
Yeah. I might get cancelled for that. Actually, no, you might. You would. But yeah, I think I wasn't always comfortable. But it was just literally that instant that changed things for me. So now I'm very neutral about it.
Yeah, I honestly, it's so ridiculous. And I've experienced it as well.
Okay.
And because obviously I'm on the darker side as well.
Yeah.
And my sister is even more darker skinned than I am. And growing up, it was always a comment that was there about her. Whereas it was more like people feeling bad for her color of her skin or darker. And I don't get it. I always used to think she looks better than I do. So I don't understand. So you see how like the innocent minds don't see darker as being worse.
Yes.
It's just darker.
Yeah.
And I had the same issue because at my graduation at university, the lighting was so bad for me because everyone else was white. And I was like, I look so bad. Like, I look ashy.
Oh my God.
And I was like, why did no one fix the color for me? And it's an individual photo. You could have fixed it for me. And then I remember thinking, this is something that people don't think about because they don't think, okay, you're a different color. I need to make sure that your photo looks as good as well. And I brought this up once in a group setting where I said, okay, but this light is not good for everybody. We need to fix it so that everyone looks their best. And then this became a huge discussion of people tend to think that the whole society is against them. It's not this. It's just trying to be inclusive. So I think people get very touchy when we talk about skin color because even not just brown people, right? Even black people and everyone, even with black people, you have people who are lighter skin and people who are darker skin and they have their own issues as well. And I think it's so important to talk about it because now the younger girls we still have Fair and Lovely cream.
Yeah.
I saw the ad still, like, isn't Priyanka Chopra still doing the ads for Fair and Lovely? And I was like, girl, what are you doing? Like, come on. And she talks about loving her own skin. So I think we really need to have this open conversation of whatever color you are. As you said, it's just acknowledging that we all look different.
Yeah.
There's no good or bad. It's just a difference in shade.
Yeah. And it's also approaching the way we look from a neutral standpoint. It doesn't have to be glorifying dark skin or, talking very highly of yourself and coming and saying, I'm beautiful because I'm dark skin. It doesn't have to be that way. You're dark skin, you're light skin, that's it. Yeah. And the more neutral we are to, the way we look, our body and our skin and whatever it is, I feel like it's going to be easier to navigate through these changes in our body because once we start expecting to always look beautiful, to always love our skin, it's not going to work that way. So now I approach it from a very neutral standpoint. There are still days where if we take a group photo and I look bad and I'm like, oh my God, like I look bad, but that's fine. It's okay. Yeah. It's just a bad day.
Yeah,
it just happens to be a bad Yeah, so that's just the way I tend to look at it.
Okay, but I'm so sorry you get those comments. It would make me really annoyed. But I like how you don't get annoyed about it. It just doesn't bother you, right?
No, it doesn't.
That's good. You've taken all the power away from it.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me at all. I think the only thing that bothers me is when people come to my profile and they're like, oh, please go get a job. That bothers me because...
You're like, I work 2 jobs.
Yes. And that's what bothers me is when they just assume that you don't do anything, which is okay. I don't blame them for it because when you come on my Instagram, it does look like I don't work. It does look like I'm a little dumb, which is fine. But that annoys me because this is honestly the best I've been in my life. This is the most money I've made. And for you to assume that I've made nothing, it's also a little bit hilarious.
Yeah.
But I feel like responding to it, I feel like replying back and clapping back and saying, oh, I've made so much money, but you don't have to. It's okay. And also I could lose this money anytime, so I try not to get too attached to it. So yeah.
Yeah, I know. For me as well, I get a lot of comments being like, yeah, but this is probably all daddy's money.
Oh, you get that as well. Okay.
I get that a lot. And because people just assume that surely you are not making money to sustain that lifestyle. But as you said, it's not worth replying unless you're shaming them on your video, which I think is not. Still, it's for me, it's when you zoom on their photos and you're like, yeah, this guy's calling me ugly.
Yeah, and the thing is, influencers are put not necessarily on this pedestal, but normal people expect so much from influencers. If I reply to someone and I'm like, please look at yourself, I've literally had comments to that thread saying, look at this influencer who's body shaming my friend. And I'm like, please look at his comment first. Literally look at what he said
Let's look at what he said. Yes.
Yeah, let's look at what he said. But no one will talk about it. No one will come for that person. But if I respond, I'm put under this microscope. My values are questioned. Everything that I say is suddenly questioned. But yeah, that's why I just put up their picture and I don't say anything.
Yeah.
So what are you going to hold?
You're not saying anything.
I'm not saying anything.
I'm just showing you this guy.
I'm just showing you this guy. Like, look at the hate comment that I got. Now, if you think a certain way, that's on you.
Yeah, that's on you.
So I don't say anything. And yeah.
No, I agree. And I think, so for me, I got into beef with a Tinder swindler.
Oh.
He came and left a hate comment on one of my reels because
oh my God.
Obviously he's not happy about me empowering women. Who is he going to swindle?
Oh,
so then
got it.
He was just like, oh, classic, go back to the kitchen or something. And I just remember replying a comment being like, aren't you running away from your enemies? Go hide. Don't let them know you're here. And then everybody started commenting. But I think that's the main issue that people have with us as women, as you said, having an opinion and telling women not to take BS from anyone else and know your value. And this is what's wrong with whatever's happening here. And it's a journey. But another thing that bothers me you have these men on Instagram that make a whole following from shitting on women, right? Like it happened to you as well.
Yeah,
and I've seen this guy before shitting on other female creators. And I'm just like, you are building a whole following from shitting on people who are working hard on the internet.
Yeah.
And this is fine. This is okay. But you are not allowed to have an opinion.
Yeah.
But how did you handle this when this happened, by the way?
So I actually barely watch videos where people stitch me. I just don't, because that can, I wouldn't say affect my mental health, but it can put me in a bad mood. And I just don't, I don't even want to be in a bad mood.
Yeah.
I don't. So whenever I am tagged in such videos, I usually just send it to my friend and I tell her, listen, I don't want to watch this, but can you give it a watch and tell me if I should be worried or does it have to bother me?
Yeah.
So I sent this person's, because someone tagged me in his video, and I sent it to my friend. And she literally watched the first 10 seconds and she's like, he can barely string a sentence together.
Yep.
Don't worry about him. And she said this, like, yes, hate comments, you do have to think about every once in a while. You do have to care about it. Just not him. Don't worry about him.
Yeah.
And once you said that, I just didn't bother. Like, there's no point responding to these people.
No.
I've had many creators, actually not many. I've had 3 creators who have used me to talk about different things, and it's fine. It's okay. My videos are public. I allow people to stitch my videos, so it's up to you. I just never engage with it.
Yeah.
Because the last thing that I want to do is be associated with someone who I do not want to be associated with.
Yes.
Like his profile especially.
Right.
No, please don't put me on the same level as you.
Yeah.
So I don't like it. I don't message. I barely respond. And I did have a few people message me after that and say, oh, he called you out. What do you have to say? And I said, there are many people calling me out. I don't have to respond to everyone.
No, you don't owe an explanation.
I don't, especially when we're not on the same level. I say this humbly, but I'm doing much better than him. So I really don't have to even respond to him. That is a big win for him. If I respond, I don't even want to do that. So yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like from you, right, from this whole conversation we've had, you seem to have very good self-control. How do you do it?
I think more than self-control, I think more than self-control, it probably has to do with the fact that I'm very, my self-concept is pretty strong. I'm very secure in who I am. I'm very secure in my relationships. And that comes from my family and my friends and where I'm in my life. And when you have a really strong network of people that actually love you and care about you and who are good people, you really don't have to care about anyone else. So because I have a very strong group of girlfriends, a great family, a great career, a great job, a great home, I do not have to worry about what anyone talks about me. And through these people, I also have a very strong concept of who I am. I know myself really well.
Yeah.
So it doesn't bother me. I've had people who comment on my videos and call me a gold digger.
Whose gold are you digging?
Please tell me. Because I look at your videos and literally I can see stuff in your walls. Like I can see that your wall is breaking down. Who is going to dig your gold? Where's the gold?
Where's the gold?
But yeah, so there are many people who call me gold digger. There are many people who say that I moved out with my dad's money. But people will talk. And it's also because they can't relate to it. They will not be able to do the things that I've done.
No.
So they probably assume that it's dad's money, which is okay.
Yeah.
I don't have to explain myself.
It's a compliment.
It's a compliment for me.
Yeah, it's a compliment.
Yeah.
And I mean, talking about you moving out, I know you've moved out, you live out on your own and everything. But it's just in the interest of time, we don't have too much time to go deep into it. But one question I have for you is, obviously we've discussed how you deal with, external validation. Clearly you don't need it because you know who you are at the core. But when it comes to things like, dealing with adult life, when challenges are thrown at you. For example, I know you're having issues with your landlord. And, just dealing with these little hiccups that come your way. How do you handle it? Because for me, for example, right now, I'm also dealing with adult admin that is chewing at me. I'm very bad at compartmentalizing and making sure that it doesn't impact my mood or the rest of what I do. But how do you approach it?
So the thing with me is when I complain about things a lot or when I get upset about small things, I end up getting really mad at myself because I do see the bigger picture of my life. I understand how incredibly privileged I am. So if my landlord is not giving me my security deposit, it's fine because I was still able to move out into a really good place. I'm getting money from different sources. So I really try to focus on that because the thing is, once you start going down this rabbit hole of fixating on one thing that goes wrong, your entire week or your entire month is just and I don't want to be that. Like, I hate being irritated. I always want to remain in 8. That's my mood number. So I try not to focus on it. I know it's not very helpful to say this, but yeah. And I honestly understand how privileged I am. So even when you ask me, oh, you deal with these adult things, there are people who've lost their homes and who've lost their parents and who grew up in slums or who grew up in orphanages. So I always try to think of the fact that my security deposit is nothing compared to that. Sure. So I don't, I talk about it on my Instagram just because it's funny and just because I like to vent. Yeah. But I don't internalize it or I don't take it very personally.
So I like this because most of us tend to compare above, right? But you compare with people who might have it a little bit worse than you. And that makes you feel more gratitude towards what you have. So the little things don't have that much power anymore. Yeah. Okay. That's very nice. So final thing that we do on the podcast is, of course, we would love to for being here.
Thank you so much.
And these are the flowers for you.
Thank you.
And now final question is, if you had to give a flower to someone else, as in metaphorically, who would you like to celebrate, as a woman? Which woman would you like to celebrate in life?
She's not a woman, but she's my niece. She's 4 years old. Is that fine?
Yeah.
She's so cute. She woke up early today to make a necklace and a bracelet for me. She's 4 years old. So this would be for her.
Amazing.
Her name is Tiara. Very cute.
I love it. Beautiful name.
Yeah.
So there was a card in it from a previous guest, and you're going to write a card for the next guest as well.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Wait, who was your previous guest?
Salama.
Oh, you've had Salama as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes. So thank you so much. Do you have a final message you would love to share with?
Do people usually give a final message?
They do.
Oh my God. I was going to say, I don't really have a final message. My final message would be...
For young women out there.
For young women out there, try to get aligned within yourself. That's all. Like your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. Once it aligns, your life just changes incredibly. To get to that alignment is difficult, but once you get there, oh my God, life is magical. So that's just my advice. Sorry, that's my message.
And how do you get there?
A lot of affirmations and a lot of visualizing what you want your dream life to be.
And self-introspection, I guess.
Yes. And also, as much as you dream, as much as you visualize, nothing is going to happen until it's completely backed by action every single day. But once all of those come together, you're dreaming, you're intentional, and it's also backed by action, literally, like your life can entirely change. So that's my biggest message. I always say this to my friends as well, which is alignment can bring you so much magic into your life.
I love that. Thank you so much, Twinkle.
Thank you so much for having me.
No, thank you. And we'll see you next time.
Yes. When is your next season?
In 2 months.
Okay, that's soon. Okay, all the best to you as well. I think you've done an incredible job at this podcast. You've got some amazing names. So as a brown girl, I'm very proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
I hope to see more.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.